Hello, advanced students. This is lesson 5.2 on angles and sides of triangles. Again, just like in 5.1, you should have your notebook out and a pencil so that you can take notes. Feel free to pause the video whenever you need to catch up on your notes. So let's go ahead and do this first slide all together. It says to work with a partner. We're going to do it all together. We're going to talk about the meaning of each name and use reasoning to define each name and then match it with a triangle. So a right triangle, we're going to start with this, has to have a right angle. Must have a right angle. So we're going to go through and we're going to find the one that has a right angle. So no right angles in number 1. Here's a right angle. So this is definitely letter A, a right triangle. No right angles, no right angles, no right angles. So number 2 is the only one that is a right triangle. An acute triangle has 3 acute angles. Okay, so acute, remember, is the angle has to be less than 90 degrees. So number 1, all 3 are acute. So this is an acute triangle. We're not going to count this because it has a 90 degree. Number 3 has one that's 100. Number 4, all are acute. So this is an acute triangle. As is number 5, all of them are acute. An obtuse triangle, letter C, has one obtuse angle. Okay, so that's C. We already counted A. Number 1 is an acute. Number 2 is a right triangle. Number C, definitely obtuse is 100 degrees, so letter C. We've already counted that B and that A. Oops, this should be a B, not an A. A is a right triangle. Sorry about that. So number 3 is our only obtuse triangle. Those 3 are based on angles. The next 3 are based on sides. An equal angular triangle, sorry, this one is also is a triangle or an angle one. That means that has 3 equal angles. And the only one that has 3 equal angles is number 5. So that is also considered an equal angular one, which is letter D. So there's 2 ways of classifying that. Now we'll go into sides. Equilateral has 3 equal sides. And you're going to know because right here, again, we have a little dash there and a little dash there. None on 2, none on 3, none on 4. Here we have all 3. So this is also E, which is an equilateral triangle. Isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides. And since we already said letter A, or number 1, sorry, has 2 equal sides, that's also letter F. So when I ask you to categorize each one, you may have more than one answer. So like number 5 has 3 different ways of classifying it. Number 1 had 2 different ways. So they might have more than one. But these are the ones that you need to know. So angle measures, that was classifying them. Now let's talk about the angle measures. And some of this you already know because we've talked about it before. Angle measures of a triangle, basically they add up. The sum of the angle measures is 180 degrees, okay? And when you name triangles, you're going to do by 3 sides, 3 angles. So this would be triangle XYZ kind of thing. That's just a little thing about naming them. But you guys already know they add up 180. So what they want you to do is find the value of X and then classify it. So on your homework, you're going to be doing the same thing. So the first part is going to be to find the value of X. So I have 28 plus 50. That equals 78. So then 180 minus 78, I'm going to do 180 minus 78, and that gives me 102 degrees, and you're going to label it degrees. But then you need to classify it. I have x is 102, so I have one obtuse angle, so it is an obtuse triangle. Not acute, not right, equilateral or equal angular, they're not the same. Then as far as the sides, it doesn't have anything that says it is equal angular or equilateral or isosceles. So obtuse triangle is the only one that you can use. Letter B, let's find the value of x, which is over here. We know that this one is 90. So 59 plus 90 gives us 149. So then 180 minus 149 is going to give us a total of 31 degrees. So now, classifying it. It is a right triangle, because we know we have one right angle, so it is a right triangle. We can't say it's acute because we have a 90 degree. The other two are definitely acute, but not all three. Obtuse, we don't have an obtuse, and equal angular, they're not all the same. Equilateral, again, not all the same sides, and not isosceles. So right triangle is the only one we can use. Let's do it again. We have the triangles. This one is this triangle right here. We have to find the value of x. Now, here I'm going to do an equation because you're going to be doing this in some of your homework, or you did it in some of your homework. I have x plus another x plus 128. That's going to equal 180. So these together is 2x plus 128. So now I'm going to subtract 128. 180 minus 128 gives me 2x equals 52. And I'm going to divide by 2, which gives me, number 1, x equals 26 degrees. Then we have to classify it. We have an obtuse, so we're going to call it an obtuse triangle. Not right, not acute, and not equal angular. We do have two sides that are the same, so we can also say that it is an isosceles triangle. So here we have two different ways of classifying it. And on your homework, you are going to have to give me both. Over here for the flag of Cuba, we're doing this triangle off to the side. And again, we've got 2x's plus 60 gives me 180. I'm going to subtract the 60. 2x equals 120. I'm going to divide by 2. X equals 60 degrees. There's number 1. Find the value of x. Then classify it. Number 2, we have 60, 60, and 60, so it is definitely an acute triangle. They're all the same, so it's I'll get it right, angular triangle. And if you look, they don't have anything on the side, so we don't know if it's equilateral or isosceles. So we're going to stick with those two. There aren't any marks, so those are the two. So again, on your homework, you're going to be giving me the value of x and all the ways of classifying it. So pause the video and do it again. Find the value of x and then classify it as many ways as you can. So number 1, x would equal, if we do 180 and we add 27 and 78 together, we get 105, and subtract that from 180, we get 75 degrees. They're all less than 90 degrees, so we're going to call this an acute triangle. We do not have all equal angles or all equal sides or two the same, so that is it. Number 2, we have 45 and 45, which gives us 89. We subtract that from 80, we get 91. So as much as this looks like a right triangle. It is not. It is 91. And it's not an acute, so it is an obtuse because 91 is larger than 90 degrees, so it is an obtuse. Not equal angular, not equilateral, also not isosceles. Let's go down to number 3. We need to find the value of x. So again, we've got 2x plus 120. We're going to do it in an equation. Subtract the 120. We get 2x equals 60. Divide by 2, x equals 30 degrees. And we're going to classify it. Obviously obtuse because we have one that is larger than 90 degrees. So it's obtuse. We don't have all equal angles, so it's not equal angular. However, we have two sides that are same, so it is an isosceles triangle. Have to have both. Number 4, we have 3 angles that are the same side. So 3x equals 180. So 180 divided by 3, x equals 60 degrees. Now, this should be fairly easy. They're all acute, so this is an acute triangle. They're all the same, so it's equiangular. I'm going to run out of space, I'm sorry. And all 3 sides are the same, so it is equilateral. So this one is going to have 3 classifications. Then we have word problems. The airplane leaves from Miami, which is over here, and travels around the Bermuda Triangle. So it goes over here, and then back. So I want to know the value of x. So let's put this all together. 62 8/10 plus 63 2/10 plus x is going to give us 180. So we add those two together, which gives us 126 plus the x equals 180. So I'm going to subtract 126. And that is going to give us x equals 54 degrees. So find what is the value of x? 54 degrees is our value. If we were going to classify it, and I'm going to right now, let's classify it. It's not part of the question, but we're going to classify it. All the angles are less than 90 degrees, so it's an acute triangle. Definitely not obtuse, definitely not a right triangle, not equal angular, not equilateral, and not isosceles. So acute triangle is the only one we can have. Your homework, once again in Go Formative, once again you need to get 100% on it, is 1 through 22 or thereabouts. It might be a little bit different, but 1 through 22 in Go Formative. If you have questions, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, good luck.